Okay, I am replacing the battery cables for my trolling motor on the boat, and as you can see, my boat's sitting over there in the driveway. I have my wife Rachel helping with filming here, so she's saying hi. Um, anyway, so having corrosion issues with the battery cables and the actual plug, you can see here how corroded that got. You got electricity going to a wet environment, so I'm redoing everything. I've got a lot of corrosion on the wires currently. So I'm going to replace all the wires all the way back to the batteries and then try and waterproof my whole system as much as possible. I started out with some 6-gauge battery cable I got at West Marine. This is tinned wire, which is made for marine uses. I've already done one here as a test, but I'll show you what I'm doing. So this is again, this is the yellow wire. I got red and the yellow. I used my pocket knife here to cut back the wire. It fits well into this 6-gauge battery terminal for lug, heavy duty lug. So you want to make sure that the gauge matches up with the wire gauge you get. I also got some heat shrink tubing. This is the high end stuff. It's got the glue on the inside, so it actually makes a better seal. And I've cut a small piece that I'm going to use here, so I'm going to slide that over. Now I don't have a crimping tool for this thing, so basically what I'm doing is I'm using solder to stabilize it. So I'm using my vice grips to let me tighten it up a little bit, to hold this in place. And now I'm going to get my propane torch here, and I'm going to basically just heat this up. I've got my standard electrical solder here. Once it's heated up, I'm going to just start filling it up with this stuff. So that's on there. It's burning, but that's okay. So I'm going to keep it heated up. I'll put my wire all the way in. And then that's going to make a nice connection there. I'm going to hold it for a couple seconds more. Let it cool down. And that's already solid there. I'm pulling pretty hard on that. So I'll disconnect here. I'll slide my shrink tubing over it, direct it even further. Now the shrink tubing, you don't want to touch it with the flame directly. You just want to kind of feather it around and keep it moving so it shrinks evenly. It's better to do it slowly than to try and keep it on there. And you're going to want to have the correct size shrink tubing too, because it makes a difference. If you get stuff too big, it won't want to shrink up all the way. If you get something too small, it's going to overstretch and break. So, change my wire a little bit there. That's not the end of the world. But there you have it. That's a nice clean battery connection. If you look real closely here, you can actually see the little bit of glue that's coming out of there, which means that that's got a completely watertight seal and also on a tip. So now I have new battery cables for the trolling motor, and I'm going to run them and then come back when I am ready to put everything together. Thanks.